Blue sky, beautiful blue sky today. You just missed the fun. Good. I know, I got the cameras here set up a few minutes ago, and just about, 3 minutes ago, a lady and her dog came by. The dog came, looked at the camera a bit, sniffed, and then you got it, he lifted up his leg. He beat on the tripod. A little Shiba. And the lady then, I couldn't see her. She was off to the side. The dog was in front of it. Actually, I couldn't see him. I could see the leg there. And then you could see the water spray. The deal here with dogs, after dogs do this, the people are they have a responsibility to clean up. So they've got a little water spray, and they spray water around. So when I get finished, I'll get out there. Yes, I forgot, sorry. But the audio comes through the camera, right? When I don't have the mic on, you can still hear it or not? There we go. Sorry about that. Good thing I'm not a pilot, you know, with their checklist before flying, flaps. Good thing I'm not a pilot. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's this, a big long post? White. There you go, you've got the episode. Okay, tell you what, I know, if you saw our webpage there with these pictures, I think it just says at the bottom of it, says a commentary to be sent in later. We haven't ourselves figured out what these are. Good, if it's okay with you, give me a source on this, a web page or something, and I'll copy and paste it into our catalog collection pages. And if you can find the information on the other episodes of his life, I'd love to. We don't have time to search all these things ourselves. So absolutely, thank you, Mr. Tom. Send it in. So it's a monkey. It's a white monkey. There it is. Got it. Good. Okay. Also, for the people who don't know what you're talking about, post a link to the image on our page there. A mob had surrounded his hut and set it on fire. Religious. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what's happening today? Today, the schedule was supposed to be for carving the block here with the grasses and legs and beaks, but we don't have a chance to do that today. We're going to put it aside. Because, or we'll get back to it later maybe if we have time. Because what I have to do today, I've got sidetracked, something else has come in. Kawasaki-san, our carver down in Kobe, needs more blocks. And the print that she's working on, the one that's number 3 in our series this year, she's already got a couple of the key blocks, a couple of the color blocks, and she needs 2 more. And the 2 more that are lined up are the color block that is for the base tone on the falcon and for the highlight tone on the feathers of the falcon. But we have empty space at the bottom of these blocks, and I'm going to use that space for the patterns on the cloth, hanging cloth on the stand. So I have to get this set up for her so that I can mail it after the stream. Good, thanks for the link there. Good, good, good. So this is going to be a sidetrack. It's going to be 10 or 15 minutes work here before we start the actual carving today. And these are combinations. What these are, the first sheets you see here, this is our normal stuff. It's the thin Gampi paper. It's our thin Gampi paper spray glued onto thicker paper, and I printed this from the key block and then colored in the area I want. Same with this one. For the patterns on the fabric, it makes no sense for me to try and draw these. So I prepared this in Photoshop, but I have to now match it. I will take this and put it on. So it's going to take a few minutes here. Good morning for the gang. There is a show and tell today. We have an interesting, fun show and tell today. What's Dave doing? Hey, what's Dave doing is the question. Dave is preparing color blocks for the third print in this year's series. We're combining two things. We're combining a color separation sheet that's printed from the key block I carved, and we're combining it with some Photoshop data. Before pasting it down on the wood. Oh, Mom's there again. Good morning, Mom. How you doing? And that mail alert is an email from my daughter, which I think I should check. Hang on a sec. Yeah, she just uploaded a bunch of photographs of my new granddaughter, my new grandson. My daughter just uploaded photographs of my new grandson to the web last night, so I sent her a thank you note. It's a private family album, nothing I can link for you, but she has an album online sharing pictures with me and Grandma. Okay, that's one of the two. Then the other one. really need a light table for this, you know, it would be a bit better. So there we go. Instead of trying to draw all these patterns, of course, printing them out from Photoshop is the best way to go. But where to put them, of course, that's why we print this out. Okay. Sorry not to be able to chat with you too much right now. Just let me get this job finished first. We'll get these pasted down and then we'll get on to the carving work and I'll be able to talk to you at the same time. But at the moment, I just have to get through this first. So give me a few minutes to get this done, then I can... Okay. Ready to go. We have a brand new piece of wood. Let's get it down. Paper out. There's no paper out because there's nobody coming today. The girls are all, they're waiting for two things. They're waiting for the blocks for the New Year print, which are coming soon from Taran-san. And they're waiting for the blocks for the first print in next year's series, which is on my desk here. So, no, they are basically at the moment just resting, waiting for me to get work for them. But what is happening upstairs today is sizing. And in fact, I considered actually of doing a sizing stream today. At the moment, the glue is upstairs. It's in the pot warming. And 5 minutes after I finish the stream here today at 9:30, I will be up there sizing paper for the next batch of Great Waves. This print you're seeing me work on now, this is the March print. This is going to be the March print in next year's series. The one I've been carving with the cranes is the January print, and Chon-san, who works at home, we don't see him here, he's carving the February print. Meow. Meow indeed. Actually, that should be enough for you to find the image, actually. You know that it's Koryusai. It's a Koryusai series for next year, so that should be enough. Have I given away too much? It doesn't matter. Okay, now, we're going to put this down, but stand by. There is going to be no dramatic peel here today, because we now have a double. I've already lost one piece of it. What happened to the little piece on this side? Look at that. So much for low-tack glue. Here it is. We are not going to have a dramatic peel today. Because of these four little pieces that are stuck on the front, I cannot peel the whole thing back smoothly and quickly. I'm going to have to be very careful about this area. So hold your scorecards, please. Is that what you're wondering about, John? It fell off? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're okay. So the registration marks, again, without explaining the whole thing, I can cut them wherever I want them. The key point here is this corner of the paper is already cut to match exactly, because I printed it on the key block in the registration marks. So this corner is properly registered with the key block registration marks. So I can cut these anywhere I want. I could have cut them here and put the paper in, and that would be the new registration. I've cut them in a place that it's over the whole block. And by putting them in this set of marks, everything gets lined up automatically. We're going to peel, but it won't be a 9 out of 10 peel. It's going to be a piece by piece peel. Piecemeal peel, yes, so exactly. You guys never fail, do you? Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the way this works is that those little pieces, I put them on top of the Gampi paper, which was already there. If I hadn't put those 4 little pieces on, the normal Gampi paper would all be glued to the block. But the 4 pieces I put on top, they are the pieces that are now glued to the block in those 4 places. But the normal Gampi behind them didn't get glued. So it should peel off past those 4 pieces, but if we'll see how it goes. So up at the top here, it's already peeling off, isn't it? Let's see, we have to really be careful coming up to these 4 corners. There we are. One of them stayed down just perfectly. 2, 3, 4. We got away with it. Good, 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 good. Peel away. Here we go. The area that we really want is the bird. Let's just tear it off here. That's our main area. And now, this doesn't matter at all. What we want is those 4 little areas. And peeling from those is tough, as you know, because they're so small. But let's do a little bit of a peel on each of these. Zoom in a bit more, can I? Okay, there we go. She's got all the information she needs now. She will carve, of course, the normal color block pattern. She won't be carving feathers here. She's just carving a solid block, taking the eye out. That's easy. Then she will carve these lines. So sorry for the mixed media here, but that's just the way it goes. Now, that was the easy one. Let's now do the same thing, and we'll keep this piece down. And after I do this, we'll get back to our normal carving. Normal programming will resume. Yoisho. Ready to go. the Oshibori delivery. We're moving into our year-end pattern here in Asakusa. I wasn't really sure if this was going to happen well. Normally, weekends, Saturday, Sunday, are really busy out here. The bars, there's people walking all over the place. It's great guns. And then during the week, things, of course, get quieter. But a normal pattern, pre-virus, a normal pattern is that as you move into November and December, it's busy every day of the week, all the time, because many, many companies and groups, they have year-end parties, what's called a bonenkai, forget the year party. It's traditional for any kind of organization or group. A bunch of a classroom, a group in an office, a company. Bonenkai are really, really common. But this year, of course, because of the virus, the government is trying to tell people, look, don't do so many meetings, don't do so many parties, don't do so many this or that. So I was curious to see how it was going to happen. But the last little while, the last week was really, really quite active here. The last few days were very, very busy, Saturday and Sunday. But now I expect from here on right through to the end of the year, Asakusa will be steadily busy all the time. People having parties. The virus numbers here are stable. It's, a few hundred every day in Tokyo. It's not dramatically increasing. It's not going away. Having said that, the people outside the last couple of days, I said it's very busy, 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 busy. But when I stand at the front of the shop here and look outside at who's walking by, it's all young people. I say young, it's, whatever, 20s, 30s, whatever. You don't see a senior anywhere. They're staying home. But the kids, partly it's the same thing as anywhere in the world. The kids could care less about this virus thing. Okay, now let's see. Well, I see the yellow paper. I cut partway into the yellow paper. Let's see how this is going to go. I think we are good on this. Look at this. This one's going to peel first. Here we go. We'll get the peel on our supplement piece. Look at this. Very nice. And then we'll go for the real peel on the big piece. Being careful down this end. All we care about is the bird area here. Done. Done, 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 done. Okay. There we go. These will now set aside to dry for a few minutes. And after the stream's over, these go on the way to Kobe, ready for Kawasaki-san to get working on them. Good, 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 good. Okay, enough of that. Back to work. For those of you who aren't in on what's going on right now on this block, we've got a color block coming along. It is going to be the color block that fits these grasses. It's a very faint color here. It's faded on the original. These grasses, the bird's legs, and the area of eye and beak. Shush. Chocolate eggs. Passing around chocolate eggs. Can I have one? They're not going to be green. We're going to do it as a green brown. It's going to be sort of the green is going to be, there's one green for the, what do you call them? Pine needles. We're going to do another green block, a separate green block for the green ground. I think they probably did them on the same one. It's hard to tell. We've separated them. The pine needles are on one block. The green ground is on another block. And these grasses are going to be a withered browny gray color. They won't be green. What's the most satisfying moment in the practice here? I don't know. It's all fun. There's no specific moment. Of course, when you get a finished print at last after weeks of work on it, it's kind of fun. But that's no big deal. You just sort of put it away and get busy in the next one. So at the exhibitions or when people say that's nice, that's good fun, there's really no highlight. That's the kind of question. It's interesting you ask me that. What's the most satisfying moment? If I were Ito-san, remember the carver in the Remembering a Carver video? If I were Ito-san, I'd say something like, "You're not a real shokunin. You would never ask that. Satisfaction." I'm laughing at you as I tell you this. But it's the same thing. The craftsman here, the worker here, satisfaction isn't something that anybody here would ever even dream of talking about. People like you and me do, of course. But the traditional craftsman, he gets to work, he does his job, he goes home. We would like to think that he's satisfied in his work. That's kind of a cool thing for us to think about. But in the traditional world here, nobody here ever would dream of asking such a thing. You do your job, you are what you are, and the question of personal satisfaction doesn't enter into it. And that might sound kind of sad from our point of view. But the other point of view is that it's not sad at all. It's simply everybody is what they are, and they're happy in that. In other words, you don't have to ask about satisfaction because it's built in. That's the optimistic viewpoint. I'm speaking about traditional craftsmen. Mr. Salaryman, I think, is a different story. But, so I'm in both worlds. Of course, I'm a Westerner. I grew up. I want satisfaction in my work, of course, and I get plenty of it all the time. off camera. Great, Dave. Sorry about that, gang. Excuse me. Spend half an hour carving and off camera. Wonderful. Sorry about that. Everybody's yelling at me, no? Sorry about that. At least I didn't do it for half an hour. I am using a microscope. It's not a normal part of the job. There's 3 or 4 reasons involved. One is that I'm now 70. Partly I have glaucoma. It's very difficult for me to focus close. In the old days, how did they do it without microscopes? The guy who got to be 70 and couldn't see anymore, he's out the door, gone. I still want to keep doing this. So I'm using a crutch. I'm using a drug, a crutch, a microscope. It's all individual DNA. Ito-san, the guy we saw in the video, we saw him carving in that video. He put his nose really close to the board and carved. And I saw him sometimes. He'd take his glasses off. He'd look and inspect with no glasses, put the board down, put some glasses on, and get to work again. So no, a microscope is not a traditional tool at all. I need help. I need help. So send him out to a farm where they can play in the fields, whatever. I would imagine it would happen in stages, because some of the work is much more detailed than other parts of the work. So if somebody is getting trouble and they can't see the detail, then you put them onto a part of the job where, you're maybe clearing wider work with a chisel, stuff like that. Because people, remember, for the most part, back in the old days, people worked in teams. These days, most craftsmen are working one by one at home on their own jobs. A carver will start the job and finish the whole thing by himself. That's not how it worked in the old days, for the most part. Most people worked in workshops. There's a master, the guy who ran the place, apprentices, and people in the middle. And work would be distributed among the people. So the guy, the top gun, would do the difficult part, and then over years it would change as somebody lost his eyesight or the young apprentice got better and better at it. I suppose at the end of the line, eventually, some guy who really did lose a lot of his sight, he's just going to sit there making tea or go home, whatever. But nowadays, when we do it all by ourselves, there's no choice. I have to do this, so. Printers, of course, have no such assistance. When a guy gets old and can't quite see what's going on, doesn't have the strength anymore, that's it. You're done. Just retire, same as anybody. I'm on now, right? Yeah. Another busy day for the garbage. It's Monday, of course, so after a long weekend, it's not a long weekend, but after a weekend that was a long weekend, lots of garbage down there. So. Can we see it there? Yeah, they're outside the Korean hot dog place down there. Yep. Excuse me. I should take a liquid silica supplement. Whatever. I don't really believe in stuff like that. You know, I eat a varied diet. I eat lots of different types of food. So my body has, I believe, whatever it needs. I get good rest. I don't have stress. Don't get quite as much exercise as I should, but I do get some. I walk a few times a week out there. So I think that's enough. I had something on I have a notepad here, but it's missing today. I forgot to put it down here. There was something I was supposed to talk to you about today. I can't remember what it is. Maybe if I can remember it. There was something I was going to bring up today, but I can't remember what it was. Is he still down there? A ton of garbage. It's Monday, I guess, yeah. A ton of garbage. Wonder what it is, just packaging, I guess, most of it. this area, it's a dangerous type area, it's so easy to cut something off that should be kept there. And as we saw in that last video, you cut something away and it ends up with being a white spot in the finished print. This area right here, the bird's legs that are legs, they're okay, they're easy to see. But this leg is split. There's the leg at the top, then there's a wing comes in, and there's a foot at the bottom. And this little area here, I saw it here, I've cut it, it's nice. But when I'm clearing, it'll be really dangerous to see and clear this, You take that away and it ends up being a white spot on the finished print, just really visible. In that last video, and we talked about that on that Hakone mountainside, and it is so easy to do, If I get through this print without any such white spots, it'll be a miracle, an absolute miracle. Once we get into the grasses and stuff, this stuff, these grasses, do I carve this? Does it stay on each block? What about this little piece there? Should that be on the grass? Should that be on the background, Today's Monday, so those of you who have been watching for the past few weeks, you would realize that on Monday usually Kira-san shows up. She's here doing work on our flea market prints, but she wrote an email this morning on her baby, Milo-chan, has a fever, so they're going to take him to the doctor to have a look at. So she won't be in this morning. So it must be no fun these days, having a kid. Normally when you got a baby, I remember of course doing it, there's any number of times it has a fever, it doesn't feel good, times going on, And it's no fun for a parent at the best of times. But now in this era, my baby's got a fever, oh my God. And you don't want to go near hospitals so much, and so it must be really, really no fun. I feel really bad for these people, We have a whole bunch of employees here at Moko Hankan now in exactly that situation. Cameron's baby is 7 months old now. This is Milo-chan from Kira-san. It's just 3 or 4 months old. My own daughter had a baby just 2 weeks ago. 1 week ago, on November 3rd. 2 weeks ago, I guess. And we've got a bunch more, Ayumi-san is pregnant again. She's at home now, waiting for her next birth. So. Coming along, coming along. Questions, questions. Look at this. Thanks for the regular chat members for answering, Thank you so much, you guys. Look at these. Answers, questions, answers, questions, answers. What led to Moko Hankan's birth? I was already in Japan. I wasn't as a hobby. I was a professional. I came here in '86. Went pro. Went pro means make a living at it, starting in 1989. And then it would be 20 years or so working personally. So 1989 started selling them, and then somewhere in the early 2010s, around when I was just upcoming to my 60th birthday. Now, 60 is one of those birthdays in Japan. It's a reckoning time. It's what's called kandeki. You finish that astrological cycle of 60 years, 12 times 5, and that's sort of. In the old days, that was okay, you've had your time. Anything else you've got now is bonus, so it's time to play and do other stuff, This is the traditional way. So when I was 58, 59, coming up to this, people would ask me, what are you going to do after you're 60? Well, pretty much the same thing I've been doing. But it did. The feeling gradually grew on me that I should do something different. And there were two choices for me. Stay as a solo craftsman, just work by myself peacefully and everything else. Or open up, get apprentices, do a workshop, and try and do something that would make this technology move forward so other people could do it instead of just working as a solo craftsman. And I did. I made that choice when I was 60. So we opened up. That would be a 2011. I hired the first outsiders. And here we are. It's 2020, and we're doing kind of okay. But it was a choice. It was a specific choice I made back when I was 59. Quiet, peaceful, slow down to retirement eventually, or shake it up with a bang. Keep yourself alive and vigorous. And for the most part, I'm glad I did, but sometimes it gets to be a bit, If I hadn't started Moko Hankan, if I'd stayed as a solo craftsman, Patreon could have come along, I could have started that as a solo person, made YouTube videos, made a print every month just by myself. It could have been a very peaceful, quiet, stress-free life. But, the road not taken, whatever. How are we for time? We're okay, right, still? I got no clue about the time today. Not even 9 o'clock yet. We're good to go. Good to go. Have I shown my first print on the stream? I don't remember, but they're out there on the net. And they're not on the Moko Hankan website. If you go to the woodblock.com website, hunt around, look for a section called, what did I call it back then? Where I've Been and Where I'm Going, I think it was called. This is decades ago I wrote that. It was pre-Moko Hankan. But if you go to woodblock.com, find that section, Where I've Been, Where I'm Going, and it was a snapshot from about, 2010 or so. And it shows a bunch of my older prints, the ones I made at first. So the stuff's out there. There's also a YouTube video, a couple of YouTube videos called Beginnings. Beginnings 1 and Beginnings 2. Beginnings 3 is coming up sometime. And that shows the older prints. I don't have the very first one I made because I threw it away within seconds of making it, but I have number 2 and number 3 and all the other ones. I was so shocked, you know. I'll never forget that, actually. I'll never forget that. This is so easy. Woodblock printmaking. Cut a piece of wood, put some paper on it, some pigments. Easy. What could go wrong, you know? I made the first print that I'd seen. I think it was a Hasui design I'd seen with some sky and a moon and whatever. And I cut a piece of wood, whatever, just crazy. It had a sky shape and there was a boat, maybe, I don't even remember actually, whatever. There was some water. And I was thinking, this is a piece of cake. What could you look at this? It's easy. All you got to do is wood, pigment, and rub something on the back, and it'll be one of those beautiful, beautiful prints. I threw it away literally in seconds. I was embarrassed. I just peeled it off. What? Then I tried it again. Rubbed some more pigment on. Tried it again. What? That doesn't look anything like. What? I just threw it away. I threw away the paper. I threw away the piece of wood. I'm like, let's pretend that didn't happen. I don't remember this. I don't remember the timetable. Whether it was like the same day I thought, okay, let's give this a go, or whether it was like days or weeks later. Jesus, you know, that was really a screw up. Maybe I could, you know, I don't remember that kind of a detail about it, but I do remember within seconds, I threw away those 2 sheets of paper and the block itself. It was in the fireplace, so it went back into the wood right next to the fireplace. I don't remember then how long it was before the next attempt. I don't know. It wasn't all that long. Days, maybe. Smart ass here, you know. He's so, the Dave back then, the young Dave, he was just so, he knew that, like, you're such a genius, you know, whatever you try and do, it's going to be just so perfect, you know. And that was so bad. Well, that's the green, it's his delivery truck. He's blocking our camera. It's okay. He'll be gone in a second. Just as he was about to deliver something, his phone rang. So he's sitting there. He's on the phone right now. Not expecting anything. Wonder what's coming.おー、着物どうもありがとうございます。はい、お願いします。あ、多めからですね。はい。そうです。そうかそうか。置いてきますね。いつもありがとうございます。どうも。失礼します。Look at him running down the street. Those guys just, you know, those guys. Did I ever fail in something and give it up entirely? Of course. Whatever. Music, saxophone, bass, guitar making, girls, whatever. There's only one left, and that's what I'm doing this now, you know. Everything else is gone. You can say give up or passed away or finished or failed or whatever. So, definition of fail, what can I say, you know? What's your definition of failing, you know? I don't think what can I say? The flute thing, you know, I started, I got really, really good, held it, and I gave up and moved on to other things, or failed. What's the word we're going to use here, you know? I think, honestly speaking, I would have to say failed, because my ambition was I was going to be one of the top flute players in the world, and I didn't get there, so that's failed. And there was a specific day, one of the piccolo player in the Vancouver Symphony passed away, suddenly choked to death on a piece of meat. He was my flute teacher. So the position became available. So there was auditions. And Dave here thought, it's my job. You know, the guys don't know me. Of course, we have to do auditions because the law says you've got to try different people. But it's my job. It's my job. It's my job. And I got blown out of the water. A young boy from Japan came in. And I totally, absolutely screwed up the audition. So it's clearly fail. Clearly fail. So I don't know how you define it. Failed girls, I mean, when I say failed girls, what I mean is, you know, I've had 2 full partners and 1, more casual partner. But I live alone, and I've been living alone for 1993. I got divorced, the show, 1991, she left. I've been living alone for 30 years. So when I say fail at women, maybe is that a fail or a pass? I don't know. So it's a whatever, make up the word, I don't know, whatever. So actually, that reminds me of a story. You know, my daughter, the one now who's had a baby just this week, she had come out of college. She was starting her own business. She made a trip to Vietnam to get some stuff made for her. She had an idea for doing a business in Canada, and she wanted the manufacturing to be done in Asia. So she took a trip to Vietnam. We'd gone bus all over the place, and she stopped in Japan for a while on her way back. And I don't remember the beginning of the conversation, but she said something like, "Well, it doesn't look good. I can't get this stuff made. You know, I'm a failure." And like she's like 26 or something like this. I don't remember the detail, or younger than that. And I just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed at her. You know, like some 26-year-old girl would consider her activities to be a failure. And I remember, in fact, I've seen the notes I took that day. I grabbed a piece of paper and put it on the table and said, "Look, how old are you? Okay, let's look at Dave when he's your age now." And on the list of paper I listed, and it was like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things that I had failed at. You know, I've dropped out of university. The girl left me. I flew, and all this other stuff, you know. I listed these up for her to try to show the point. But, you know, don't give me this crap about being a failure at age 26. You know, the point about the world is you try stuff, and then you keep at it, you know. That list is there. I should dig it out and talk about it or something. And it was a total list of what I had failed at. You know. So her point that this one venture she was trying to do wasn't going so successfully. Give me a break, you know. Here's another area that is going to be a bit iffy on this print. Look at this grass here. Let me get this out of the way. These grasses have, most of them, where I find an example here. Well, the one I've just done. It's bordered by black lines, but those black lines don't close at the top. Like this one too, here, the black lines. There's no closure at the top. So where do we do? Do I cut straight between the 2 black lines? Do I make a shape here? The danger is if I cut it back here, and then when I'm doing the grass, if I cut it back, we'll have a white spot. It's the same problem we hear all this time. There'll be a white spot there. So I'm going to cut the grass blades a little on the big side, bigger than where I think the grass needs to come. And then when I'm carving tomorrow, the day after, when I'm carving the grass, hopefully I remember that and cut the grass to match. But there's real danger. There'll be these little white spots all over the place here. Yeah, it's going to be full of white spots, this one, if I'm not careful. So, someone's asking, Vivid KP, what am I going to do about the seed heads? This is an interesting one. What they did 2 things here. On the seed heads that are over the water, they seem to have popped out. They've put in the seed color, the same color as the grasses. They've put a blob of the color And then they've cut out little pops, pop, 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 pop. And it's kind of a mess. And then down here on the grass, the seed head, they've cut out little bits of white. And I have to decide what to do. And I think for the one down here on the grass, I'm not going to cut out anything. The seed head, you can see here, it's just going to be there. It's going to be grass color. I'm not going to use this color. As for the one on the water, what I'll do is I'll cut a blob of the grassy color and put it there, and I won't cut the water out. I'll put them on top and see what it looks like. This is a tough call. This one, to me, what they've done here looks really messy and uncomfortable. This is a mess, I think. Even ignoring the fact there's so many white spots. Look at this. So good question, Karen. The answer, I don't know. Yeah, the whole original print is a mess. It's a disaster. Ours is going to be way, way nicer. Again, not to belabor the whole point. In the old days, some of the printmaking was really careful and nicely done, and some of the printmaking was just slap it out and get it out of there. Misregistration, forgotten areas, more misregistration. It was a mess. This one's a mess. So we're really cleaning it up. We're gonna take the time and trouble to clean it up. Time 9:10. Let's do one more session here, and then show and tell. Show and tell today is fun, 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 fun for me anyway. This part of our stream every day that we finish at the end, this thing we've been calling show and tell, is that still a thing? And when kids go to school, do they still do that? I remember it really being a thing. I don't remember what age level. This would be in elementary school somewhere. Maybe grade 6, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe it was middle school, grade 7, 8, 9. I really don't remember. The idea that you would have to bring something to school and stand up in front of the class and, and talk about it and explain it. I really don't remember anything about that other than the fact that it existed. What did I bring? What did I talk about? Was this a one-shot that happened, or was it a regular part of classes? What class would it have been in? Would it have been in English? Would it have been social studies? I don't have any idea. Am I misremembering? I don't even know. Is it a thing? Do kids do this still? I think I remember something about it in a Calvin and Hobbes cartoon. I think he had to do this. So Calvin brought some dead frog or something. I can't even remember. I don't know. So it must be, I think it's a thing that's out there. Another one here. What do we do? Do we tape that up all the way? I don't think so. These sleeves are supposed to have a flat top. I think we'll cut this down. All right, I think we're good to go, right? I think we're good to go. Are those Suzuki grasses? I don't know, you know. It could be pampas grass, but if it is, actually my guess is no, because if an artist was doing pampas grass, they spend most of the time, they emphasize the fluff stuff at the top, not the grasses. So this here, we've got most of the emphasis on the leaves here, which are folding and dying, and very little on the fluff at top. So my unbiological guess here is no, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's show some prints. This is something today. It's something different, and it's the same as what we've had before. I brought today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objects, but it's all the same thing. Last week, we were in Yahoo Auctions, and I've got some new search terms in there. After we had that big find a couple of months back, remember we found that Tokaido print set, the postcard-sized print set from the Meiji era that was spectacularly high quality. I got a few more search terms by looking inside that and the table of contents that was there. They didn't call their prints postcard-sized prints. They called them something else. Anyway, enough of that. So I've got some new search terms, and stuff has been coming up. And look at this little book. This is Tokaido Goju-san. I guess this is Tsugi. It's stations. It's a different character than one we normally use. This is the 53 stations of the Tokaido. This is Takamisawabam Hiroshige. And this is Takamisawa, who published prints all the way from the early 1920s up until early 2000s or late 1990s. They went bankrupt. They published prints all through most of the 20th century. They had their origins as a forger, company making forgeries, and after the 1920s, they went open. This is another Tokaido set from the Takamisawa, and I have never seen one published in this format. It's postcard-sized prints again of what they have done. They have put them, and this is pasted by Takamisawa, I believe. It's a little bit not clear what it could be. It could have been Takamisawa working in a little smaller format, and the customer cut it apart and put it into this album, or it could have been published in this format by Takamisawa. I don't know. But we have our old friends here. The Takamisawa Postcard set of prints. Let's focus on this one, because this is the one we focused on the other day, when we looked at that Meiji era print that was so spectacular. This is nowhere near the quality level that we saw in that Meiji print, but this is very, very nice. And when we speak about this, if I leave you with this impression, there's Takamisawa doing a very nice job at a Tokaido print. But, let me reach over here. The two cameras here. We have another album. It's another postcard side album from Takamisawa, front cover, back cover. This one is dated Showa 11. I'm Showa 26, which is 1951, so this is 15 years before me. This is 1936. This is pre-war. I have another copy of it here, pre-war. Supposedly when Takamisawa was really, really, really doing a beautiful job, but, as an example, let's pick, let's pick this one. Let's pick Kanagawa. I'll get my camera to zoom in. You are not going to believe what you're about to see here. This is the Kanagawa print in a Takamisawa set. And this is the same print in another Takamisawa set. And how embarrassed do you have to be about this? It doesn't get any worse than this. This is an absolute, here we go, a normal print. People carved, you can see the shape of them. You can see the trees, you can see everything. You can see the boat. And this is the same thing on the same blocks from pre-war. It's an absolute disaster, an absolute mess. So a brand name is a brand name is a brand name. This is the Takamisawa company, and in general, they do a really nice job of stuff. They did a really nice job of stuff. But it's no guarantee. And just seeing the name tells you nothing. Seeing the name tells you nothing. And why is it so bad? It's a couple of things. It's of course, it's the publisher's responsibility. And at some point, they must have just thrown the blocks out to some really cheap printers, bad paper, cheap printers said, look, just whatever, throw this thing together. And my guess is that because they are doing this with an English explanation, this is just my guess, I have no idea about this. Because it had an English explanation with it, this is something they were selling in tourist markets. Maybe, for example, right here in Sensoji Temple, just in front of the temple here. The tourists are coming in and hoovering up stuff, cheap tourist junk. I guess. It's an absolute mess. And this is one reason, and after we put the other Tokaido set up a while back, people started writing emails. Dave, I want to get some of these Tokaido sets. You say they come up on Yahoo Auctions all the time. Please, can you look for one, and please, can you get one for me? We've got this kind of email, quite a lot of emails about this. People want to buy these things, and I cannot really supply them. They are on Yahoo Auctions all the time. In fact, I noticed there's another one coming up in a couple of days. It's a 55 set of Tokaido prints. The photographs are no good. I have no idea if I bid on it, whether it's going to be top quality like this one or a piece of junk like this one. The same object published by the same company. Beautifully made prints and absolute crap prints. And I have no way to tell what I'm going to get when I buy this thing. In the dealer auctions, it's fine. We're on the tables, we can open the things, we can inspect them, we can see what we're going to get, we can put our bid in the envelope. But on an open Yahoo auction, there's nothing we can tell about this. So there's no way I'm going to bid $80, $100, $120, $150. I got it, it arrives, and I open it up, and oh my God, I cannot honestly sell that for any price. So that's the reason why we're not dealing in these print sets. Here's another example. This is the Unsodo company. This is the one that's on Yahoo Auctions right now. It's starting at 10 yen, $10. How far up it will go, I don't know. And we've had Unsodo before. And back in the old days, back in the Meiji time, they were okay. But these days now, here, let's have a look at this. This is Unsodo company. Which way does it open? Again, aimed at foreigners. English language explanation, English language cover. So it's going into the tourist markets. If you go back to Unsodo in the 1890s or whatever, they did some wonderful stuff. Taisho era, some wonderful stuff. Post-war, forget it. If this was all we had, if this was the only one we knew, we would say, oh, it's okay, it's such a tiny reproduction. What do you expect? They can't make anything better in a tiny reproduction. But as we saw the other day, they can do better in a tiny reproduction. So this is our problem as a print dealer here. I could buy these things for, $70, $80, $90, sometimes $100. I could buy sets like this. There's 55 prints in. Put our margin on it, sell it for 120, 130, 150, but they're just no good. Or would you care? I don't know. I don't know. When you look at it, you're getting 55 handmade woodblock prints. But for us, having seen all of them, the good quality, the bad quality, and then when we get another nice one, like the one we got today, this is another nice one. And it's not perfect. This would have been vermilion, and that's now totally oxidized. That would have been a vermilion color originally, and now it's not. It's oxidized down to something just black. Mark's asking, would you rather they were thrown out? I mean, it's nothing to do with me. I would just rather not buy them, the ones that are no good. But my point was, people are asking me, Dave, can you supply these sets? Can you buy and sell some of these sets? They're on the market all the time. I can buy them easily, but I don't want to sell them when they're not nice. And I can't tell until I buy them. So it's just not the kind of business that I want to be in. This one too, this is nowhere near as good as the one we saw before, It's been printed with a very heavy hand. Look at this, his face is smudged. This is, somebody saying, it's a good opportunity. Somebody else who's living here, who is not an actual dealer with a reputation. Moko Hong Kong has a reputation. We want you to get good stuff from us. But somebody else who's living here, he could pick up these things all over the place and then sell them on a website, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. This is nice. This is the first thing we look at is the gradation. That's the first thing we look at to tell us how nicely these are made. Then we look at, what do we look at next? We look at registration to see the colors are fitting within the lines. Then we look at the overall impression. Has the printer pressed too hard? Are the lines thin and delicate, or are the lines all splodged out? There's 3 or 4 or 5 things we look at when we're gauging the quality of these things. This one, I don't remember how much this came in last week. Just a sec, I've still got the link here. One moment. 78.35. Here we are. Here's the link. 8,000 yen. So we have now, it's a bit embarrassing to admit this actually, we have now 9 sets of postcard sets of the Tokaido, ranging in quality level from that spectacular one we looked at a few weeks ago, right down to that piece of crap that I've got on the bench here. Is the smoke embossed? On the small version, I'm not sure. Where are we? Where did I lose it? No, on this one it's not. It's embossed only in the sense that it's printed. The gray part is printed and there are lines carved out of it. So the lines tend to bump up a little bit, but it's not specifically an embossing block. It gets a little bit of touch of embossing just by virtue of the fact that it's colored. What I mean is, if you imagine this all printed in gray, the white embossed streaks would be white streaks in the smoke. But because there is no gray color there, it looks like just an embossing. There's 2 of those, in the series. There's one right beside it, which also had smoke. This is a very nice set. I'm very, very happy to have it. And when you think of the price, what did we pay for it? 7,800 yen for 55 prints. We're looking at $1.50 for print. It's just beyond belief. A few other people bid against me. Just nobody wants these things. the famous Chiryu. We saw the photograph of this tree to show. So here again, this is decay. The shrine gate here would have been in vermilion pigment, and this has oxidized very much. This pattern here we can see is oxidization. So what would have been vermilion is now just dirty color. Here, look at this. This is another. Compare here the printing of these two prints side by side. This one. This is neatly printed. We can see the fine lines. It's sharp and clean. Registration is very nice. And look across here. This one, way too much pressure. The printer used way too much pressure. The delicate thin lines have all been fat. He put too much ink on the block. It's all smeared out. So even a nice set like this, you know. And there are so many of these sets available here. Just, they're in drawers and cupboards all across the country. Takamisawa Unso-do, Yu-do, Nihon Hanga Kenkyū-jo. These companies just blew them out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds at a time. And here's the bad set, junk. And this is the junk set. They're not all total junk, but my God, when you put them side by side. I guess the tourists didn't know, you know. They just didn't know. Look at this. It's printed so badly. The characters are all even worn out. That one's not bad. All by itself, that would be okay. Look at this. This is so bad. You can just see the whole mood, right? It's just a splodge. He's used way too much pressure. Printed just in seconds. Bang, next, bang, next, bang, next. Just trying to behave like a printing press. Yeah, somebody's got it. It was printed by the tourists. Maybe, I don't know. I shouldn't be showing you the bad stuff. I should be showing you the good stuff. But the point being, the quality varies all over the place. So whatever, buyer beware. Anyway, I wanted to point out, this is why people are asking us, Dave, please sell these sets. I can't do that. I just can't do that. When we buy the nice ones, of course it goes into our collection. If I buy one like this that's crap, there's no way I'm going to put my name on it, wrap it up, and purchase from Moko Hong Kong $100. Sorry, not going to happen. So I have no easy answer around that. Sorry. But yeah, there's tons of them here. What also could happen, of course, when you think about the economics, that set we just bought, this set, there's 55 prints in it, and it cost me 8,000 yen. But if I took the set apart, if I put this in water and soaked these prints off here, we've got a handmade woodblock print from 60, 70 years ago. That would be maybe $30 each, $40 each, whatever. There's 55 in the set. So at $30, 55 prints, do the math. I paid $80 for this. But we're not going to do that. We're not interested in breaking this stuff up. It's much more interesting for us to have these sets as complete, beautiful sets. Open up a shop called Moko Hong Kong. I got static for this actually when we started selling used prints. I called it the Moko Hong Kong flea market, and I've had negative feedback on this. Dave, it makes it sound like a bunch of junk, and yet you're really trying to sell only good stuff there. But why have you used a name that make it sound like it's junk? And I hadn't thought about that. I wanted a name that made it sound like people could dig around in there and find really neat stuff at a good value. That's why I called it a flea market. But I guess maybe the name has different meanings to different people. So whatever. So there's one idea here. Maybe break them up. If I get really bad sets, there's no, whatever. Just break it up. Throw the bad ones in the toilet. Pick out the few good ones and sell those. That's possible, I guess. I mean, what's the point of having this thing as a set if it's just not going to be looked at, you know? Our policy on breaking up here is simple. Books we never break up. We have never ever sold a single book page. We never will. We don't even buy broken up book pages because we want nothing to do with that market. But the print sets, like the ones we showed in that last Tokaido video, if we get a broken set, then yes, we will take the pieces, put them in the shop, people can enjoy prints one by one by one. But we do not break up our own sets at all. Am I being a little bit hypocritical there? I don't know. To me, once a broken set has come in, no one's going to want that thing, so the best thing to do is split it up so that people can enjoy having an enjoyable Japanese print in their collection. And the sets, too, never get looked at. Nobody even opens them and looks at them. So, but we don't do book pages. We will never, ever, ever sell a single book page, even if it was broken 100 years ago. We don't want to do that. It's a terrible part of this business. The dealers downtown do it all the time. They get an old Edo-era book with 50 pages. They pay $100 for it. They split it up, and they sell each of the individual pages. 1834, original Japanese woodblock print, $150. I cannot countenance that. And so we've got the line of what we will do, and we don't do that. So when you see single prints in our flea market, they are from broken up sets, or sets where half of them were foxed and moldy. They're already gone. So we will take the nice copies out and put them out one by one. We do that all the time, all the time. But a set like this, no way, no way, no way, no way. We do combine sets. We've got that. There's a set right now. There's a Takamisawa Tokaido set at the bottom of my bench right here sitting on the floor. It's missing 4 or 5. They were missing when we bought it, but the other ones are in really, really nice condition. So I am waiting because I know exactly what will happen. At some point or another, coming down the line months from now, one will come that's broken. The problem is, though, they're always missing number 1, Nihonbashi. So the idea that we get a broken set and it's not missing number 1, that almost is impossible to happen. Anyway, I'm running over time here. I have a ton of things to do today, a ton of things to do. Sorry about that. It's been a really bit of a mixed up stream today, hasn't it? Sorry about that. Whatever. Sometimes it's more stable, sometimes it's a bit mixed. Anyway, we'll be back at it on Thursday. I will be back here carving more of those same color blocks because the printers are now waiting for me. In fact, I will be doing work off camera, so you're not going to pick up right where you saw me left off today. I will probably have that block finished, and I'll be doing another one. I'm out of here. Stay healthy, please. Mask up in America, please, please. What can I say? My God, we're worried about you guys now, you know. The rest of the world is really, really worried about you guys. Nothing I can say. You don't like outside advice, so that's it. Nothing I can say, but please, take care. Take care. I'll be back here on Thursday morning, Japanese time, Wednesday night for most of you guys. Thanks very much. Look at that. I'm losing hair. Look at this. Don't see it. Don't let anybody see it. See you next time, guys. Thank you very much. See you next time.